Today on the Morning Edition, a lot of Alaskans are wondering what the governor is going to do to address the budget shortfall, what he plans to do with the PFD, and a lot more. We'll take you to the State of the State address and fill you in on what you need to know. Plus, a decision reached about halibut fishing limits. We'll tell you how the International Pacific Halibut Commission is handling the situation and how the decision could impact your next fishing trip. And later, a children's advocacy center has been trying for years to get a facility dog on site to help aid kids as they come in, often dealing with serious issues such as neglect and abuse. Now they have their golden pup. We'll introduce you to Nexa as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Friday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. I fully believe that a dog can make almost anything better.
Yeah, they have a sixth sense, especially when it comes to being able to detect if something's wrong with someone, if they got
really
an illness. And man, we really don't deserve them.
We don't deserve them. We love dogs.
Well, we are waking up this morning, still holding on to those quiet conditions with some localized areas of fog across South Central. Ongoing weather pattern continues to favor near identical conditions. Highs in the 20s for inland areas, coastal regions breaking into the 30s. Meanwhile, as you head north into the slope region, this is where we're going to see some snow beginning to increase across the state. 17 degrees is where we're currently sitting at, so temperatures across South Central are sitting in the teens and the 20s to start off this morning. Of course, as you head through Midtown and East Anchorage, we're seeing those temperatures sitting anywhere from about 12 to 15 degrees. 9 degrees in Wasilla, 3 degrees in Talkeetna, 9 below in Gulkana. There's those 20s out towards Homer. Very few 20s across South Central. Coastal regions are really the only area where we are seeing some of those warmer conditions this morning. But overall, not a bad start to the day. Just be prepared for some localized areas of some freezing fog. You can see it is quiet across South Central as you head out towards Kodiak. We are going to begin to see some increasing rain showers throughout the day where we could see the potential for about 3 to 4/10 of an inch of rainfall. Now, the first part of the day, we'll just see a chance for some isolated scattered showers. It's really the second half of the day where we'll see that better return to some rain spreading across Kodiak Island. For today, though, you can see those temperatures warming into the 20s for inland areas, 30s as you head out towards coastal locations, so warmer to the south, and we will continue to hold on to a light breeze, if not some of those gap winds out towards Seward. And, of course, the colder location will be out towards the Copper River Basin, where Glen Allen will make a run near 0 degrees today. So coming up in my full forecast, we'll be talking about this quiet weather pattern. It's going to begin to die down for the state. Snow chances will return into next week, particularly here across South Central. And there's signs that we could see another warming trend across parts of the state. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast coming up.
In this morning's top story, Governor Dunleavy says he'll protect the PFD and solve Alaska's $1.5 billion budget shortfall. But in his final State of the State address, he skipped over the sales tax proposal he previewed just 24 hours ago. Our political reporter Will Courtney has the story from Juneau.
In his final State of the State address, Governor Mike Dunleavy promised to push forward a plan to help alleviate Alaska's fiscal economy, but all at the same time, he left out a key detail, that sales tax he proposed to reporters last week. He now says legislation's on the way.
I know that each element of the fiscal plan that I'll introduce will have its detractors. There'll be those that'll say it doesn't work. But the fact of the matter is, the numbers and the elements of the plan could work.
The governor also promised part of that plan will protect permanent fund dividend checks.
The reality everyone in this room understands is that we can't continue to fund government by shrinking the PFD, which was the smallest in history adjusted for inflation this past year.
Governor Dunleavy also touted a major breakthrough on the Alaska LNG pipeline.
Before my administration, the Alaska LNG project was floundering, and AGDC was nearly broke. Under my administration, we secured funding from North Slope producers to finish the permitting, and we defeated challenges to the project in court. Today, we are on the cusp of realizing a decades-old dream of delivering abundant, affordable energy that will benefit all Alaskans.
After the speech, some lawmakers were skeptical, saying they needed more details about a budget plan and how pipeline financing will work.
Well, we haven't heard the details on that. The governor has said he'll provide a fiscal plan. We had hoped to hear more details tonight, but I assume that's coming. You know, the governor earlier, when we were talking about the fiscal plan, he was talking about 6 or 7 or 8 bills, something like that, and now he's talking about an omnibus bill, that everything is rolled into one bill.
Here in the Capitol, that leaves lawmakers with a lot on their plate and a lot of questions. That being said, Governor Dunleavy does plan to push forward a fiscal plan next week. Will Courtney, Alaska's news source.
And remember, you can listen to Alaska's Political Pipeline for a deeper dive on updates from the governor and the continued legislative session from our reporter, Will Courtney, staying on top of what's going on and bringing you the most up-to-date information. The latest episode available is now on our website, mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts. A mother's worst nightmare just got worse.
And when I got to the float house to collect my son's things, that's when I seen that my son's gun room had been stripped, and his keys were hanging out of his safe, and the guns were gone.
More than a month after Josiah Brackett and his friend Quinn Whitten vanished while boating near Sitka, police say a woman named Stephanie Tutu was charged with breaking into the missing men's float house and arranging for the removal of 21 firearms and other belongings. Witnesses say firearms were packed into duffel bags and picked up by another man, Cole Johnson, who took the guns back to Sitka. Police recovered the weapons from Johnson's garage. He told investigators he thought he was helping the families.
Does she know where Quinn and Josiah are? Because, I mean, she has no problem taking their belongings and doing whatever she wants with them. So what more is she capable of?
While Tutu faces burglary and theft charges, investigators have not indicated any connection between her alleged crimes and the men's disappearance. Their families are still anxiously searching for answers. A Wasilla man has been sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for distributing carfentanil, leading to the overdose death of a 16-year-old. This is the first case of its kind in Alaska. 45-year-old Sean Mobley received the sentence Thursday in Anchorage federal court. Prosecutors say Mobley gave 16-year-old Alina Tonis the deadly drug in 2024. Carfentanil is a veterinary sedative 100 times more potent than fentanyl. Court documents reveal Mobley abandoned Alina's body after she overdosed. He had previously given the same drug to another individual who overdosed but was revived. Prosecutors say Mobley ignored warnings not to distribute the drug further. Alina's family was present in court, stating the sentence doesn't reflect the magnitude of their loss.
I think that it doesn't matter how many years they were going to charge him, regardless if they did life or 30 years, because though they gave him 30 years, Alina would have had more than 30 years left of life. She was only 16. That would have 30 years, she would only be 46. And I think she would have had a lot longer than that.
Judge Burgess added that it was his hope that whenever Mobley closes his eyes, he'll think about Alina for the rest of his life. Mobley is scheduled to be sentenced on state charges on February 5th. Police in Fairbanks are still trying to pinpoint a motive after a 29-year-old man admitted he shot his grandmother in the head earlier this week. Brian Davenport was arraigned in front of a Fairbanks judge on Wednesday. He allegedly shot his grandmother as she sat in her wheelchair inside her home. Davenport claims his grandma wanted to, quote, go peacefully as she battled cancer. He also admitted to stealing his grandfather's gun, saying he intended to kill someone else before shooting his grandmother. Davenport had no prior convictions. Officials say they're looking into the possibility of mental health issues. Davenport's bail is set at $5 million. Daily limits for halibut will not be reduced in Alaska, as some fishermen were worried. In an update to a story that we brought you earlier this week on local opposition to the proposal, the International Pacific Halibut Commission, or IPHC, decided not to make that reduction, instead deferring it to local fisheries. The reduction would have only applied to unguided recreational sectors, meaning sport fishermen, not commercial. Ultimately, the IPHC recommended that any decision on the topic should be made by the North Pacific Fishery Management Council, which is a domestic regulator.
It's really a domestic allocation issue, so arguably not appropriate for debate at the International Halibut Commission, which is a forum between the United States and Canada.
Some Alaskan fishermen, like those in the Homer Charter Association, were concerned about the proposal, feeling it was overly broad.
Every other fishery in the state's managed regionally. You know, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And think about all the different regulations for salmon and rockfish. And, you know, halibut's really no exception to that.
Now it's up to local fisheries to decide on the issue, and the topic might even come up in the state legislature. The IPHC just wrapped up its meeting in Bellevue, Washington, and one of the commissioners said it was important to note that Alaskan catch limits will remain the same as they were for 2026, while Canadian limits took a slight reduction. So if you were to go fishing today, your limit would be the same, 2 halibut per day here in South Central, while in Southeast, the limit for charters is 1 fish per day. The Bering Sea Classic basketball tournament has been canceled because of power issues at Hooper Bay School. In a statement on its website, Hooper Bay's principal said, quote, "The difficult decision was made due to the school's backup generator not working and the city electric utilities not being fully reliable, along with intermittent issues affecting power, water, and sewage systems." She went on to say, quote, "We understand the disappointment this cancellation may cause and sincerely appreciate your understanding as we make decisions rooted in safety and responsibility." The Bering Sea Classic involves 8 schools across the Lower Yukon School District, including Hooper Bay and Chivac, who are now preparing for the Chivac Invitational Hoop Fest.
We really like to support our region and our neighboring schools. We wanted to work on our kids' eligibility as well, because they've been out of school away for a while. So we wanted to make sure that their grades stay up, and so everybody will be able to play.
Fest is set to begin next Wednesday and end on Friday. Coming up, when you head to the airport, you typically see at least 1 or 2 people traveling with a pet, usually a dog or a cat, but occasionally something else, like a rabbit, which temporarily saw their flight status revoked. We'll find out why just ahead.
Snow moving along the slope today. We are expected to see a gradual return of snow across South Central into next week. I'll have more on that, but first at sunrise, 9:40 in Anchorage, 12:58 in Utqiagvik. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in on this Friday morning. Aaron, you say we have a few more days of quiet weather. What's going on weather-wise?
Well, we are going to see some snow making a return to South Central as we welcome in next week. For today, though, those quiet conditions will remain, with the exception of locations along the slope, where we're also seeing some warmer conditions and winds moving in. Snow also, where we could see the potential for about 4 to 5 inches. And, of course, in the interior, we're seeing those overnight lows dropping back below 0. In the past few days, we've actually seen those afternoon highs sitting a few degrees below 0 as well. Now, before we get to that snow along the slope, those avalanche conditions, we are still seeing considerable above about 1,000 feet. So just be mindful of that. Below tree line, it is on the moderate side. And while natural avalanches will not be less likely today, there is still that serious risk that you could trigger some large avalanches, particularly above about 1,500 feet. You can see those temperatures this morning, 15 below in Fairbanks, 22 in Dead Horse. Along the slope out towards Utqiagvik, those temperatures are just a few degrees below freezing this morning. 36 in Kodiak, 11 degrees in Bethel, and 17 degrees in Anchorage. You can see across the state, we've got some freezing fog advisories as you head across southeast. We've got a wind advisory out towards Delta Junction. And then as you head out towards western parts of the state and the northwest Arctic borough, this is where we're seeing those winter weather advisories. The snow is moving in along the slope, rounding the periphery of that ridge, which has been with us this week across the state. So those winter weather advisories that we do have will amount to about 3 to 5 inches of that snow accumulation. You can see most of that snow today is going to hover from northern parts of the Seward Peninsula, which may actually see more in the way of a wintry mix or freezing drizzle event. And then extending through parts of the central Brooks Range. So that's going to stay with us throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. As it moves in over the Brooks Range, it's going to lose most of its steam. But we should still see plenty of moisture as it drops south into the interior. That we'll see some light snow showers through the afternoon hours tomorrow. This will likely occur for parts of the central interior where we could see up to about ½ an inch of that snow accumulation. And then for areas east of Fairbanks where we could see some of that light snow accumulation accumulation through your Saturday. That falls apart before it makes it to South Central, but we'll see our chance for snow arriving as we welcome in the Sunday evening as we watch our next system lifting northward out of the Pacific Ocean and into the Gulf of Alaska. So just a few more days of these quiet conditions. Today, we are going to see those temperatures once again warming into the 20s for inland areas, while coastal regions make a run near freezing or right around the 30 to 35 degree mark. And of course, while we can't rule out some localized areas of freezing fog this morning, outside of that, you shouldn't see any impacts for the day. So we're dry for your Friday, we're dry into Saturday and the first part of Sunday. And then that snow builds in through Sunday evening and will likely carry us through at least the middle of next week. Right now, it's looking possible that we could see about 4 to 8 inches of that snow accumulation from Sunday evening on through the middle of next week. So we'll be watching that trend. There's also that push of warmer air you can see by Wednesday and Thursday, Kristen. Those highs, they'll be sitting near, if not slightly above freezing.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. Alaska Airlines reversed a recent policy change, and it's good news for travelers with an unusual furry companion. Danny Tompkins reports on how those traveling with bunnies are impacted.
You can't take this on an Alaska Airlines flight, but another kind of furry Alaskan just got cleared for takeoff. Meet Bunny, a sassy rabbit from Talkeetna who's a seasoned traveler on Alaska Airlines. She's traveled to 4 states, always in the cabin. But when Alaska Airlines recently stopped allowing rabbits on board, Bunny's owner faced a tough choice: drive more than 3,000 miles from Colorado or miss the holidays in Alaska. Now, full disclosure, Bunny's owner is my sister, and she mentioned feedback to Alaska Airlines hoping to get Bunny back on board.
And honestly, it brings so much joy to everyone traveling around me. They'll see her and or even just animals in general and just be so happy and curious, because it's not super common to see a rabbit on the plane.
Alaska Airlines says after reviewing customer feedback, they brought the bunny policy back. The company says it regularly evaluates policies based on customer input. The reversal came just in time for the holidays. Bunny is nearly 10 years old and has become a family favorite. And for this Talkeetna bunny, she got her wings back. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.